Okay, for those of you who are struggling with adding and subtracting mixed fractions, this is going to be some practice to sort of help you grasp that concept. If you did not watch those math antics videos, I would suggest stopping this video and watching the adding and subtracting videos by Math Antics before you do this. But if you understand it and you just need more practice, then go ahead and continue on with this video. Okay, so I'm going to have a picture of these problems on every slide just because it's easier that way. So don't get overwhelmed with all the problems. So on your piece of paper, if you guys can write down number 49, write down 5 2/3 plus 7 1/2 on your paper. I am going to solve these problems with you. So whatever I write on this screen, you guys need to write on your paper. Okay, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to find a common denominator between the 3 and the 2. Okay, that will be 6. Now let's make our adjustments for the numerators. 3 goes into 6 2 times, so 2 times 2 is 4. 2 goes into 6 3 times, so therefore 1 times 3 is 3. Okay, now we can just go ahead, let's add our whole numbers. 5 plus 7 is 12. And now we can go ahead and add our numerators. 4 plus 3, well, that gives us 7 over 6. 7 over 6 is an improper fraction, so we can actually make a whole, which is 6 over 6 plus 1 over 6, which would give us 7 over 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this whole and add it to the 12, which will make this 13. And then what's left over is our leftover fraction. Okay, pretty easy. Okay, let's go ahead and get number 50 written down on our paper. So we have 9 3/4 plus 8 7/8. Okay, find the common denominator between 4 and 8. Well, it's going to be 8. So we're going to change this fraction. 4 goes into 8 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. And then we're going to leave this one as is because it already has 8 as the denominator. Alright, let's go ahead and add our whole numbers together first. Okay, 9 plus 8, that gives us 17. Now let's go ahead and add our numerators. 6 plus 7, well, that's 13 over 8. Okay, so like we did with the adjustment, 8 can go into 13 at least once, so we can get one whole out of that. So we're going to take this whole, add it to the whole number, and that will give us 18. And what's left over is the 5/8. Okay, number 51. Now this is going to be tricky because we have 3 mixed numbers here. Okay, so let's get it written down on our paper first. Take it one step at a time so you don't feel overwhelmed. Alright, let's find a common multiple between 3, 4, and 6. All I can think of at the top of my head is 12. Okay, so let's adjust every fraction with 12 as its base, or as denominator. So on the first one, 3 goes into 12 4 times. So 4 times 1 is 4. 4 goes into 12 3 times, therefore 3 times 3 is 9. And then 6 goes into 12 twice. 2 times 5 is 10. Okay, let's add up all the whole numbers first, and then we'll take care of the numerators, okay? So 6 plus 8 plus 5, that gives us 19. And then 10 plus 4 plus 9, well, all the numerators together, equals 23 over 12. Okay, so if we have 23 over 12 and we minus the whole, so that whole number is going to get added to the whole 12 over 12 is going to get added to the whole number of 19, which brings it up to 20. and then the difference between them is going to be 11. So therefore 11 over 12 is our fraction. Alright, last one in this addition sequence before you attempt the last 4 on your own. 9 over 9 and 1/2, 7, 9 over 10, and 6 3/5. So what do you think the common denominator between all 2, 10, and 5 will be? If you said 10, that is correct. So let's make our adjustments. 2 goes into 10, 5 times 1. Keep this one because we didn't have to change it. 5 goes into 10 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, let's go ahead and add everything. 9 plus 7 plus 6. That will be 22. And then all the numerators, 5, 9, and 6 added together, well, that is 20. And then put it over 10. So we can make at least one whole. Actually, 20 divided by 10 is 2. So we're just going to add 2 to the 22 and come up with 24 even. Okay? To make sense of that on paper or to write it out, this is what it would look like. So here we're taking this 1 and bringing it up to 23, but we have a 1 whole at the end, so technically that's 2 added to the 22, the whole number, which brings the whole number up to 24. Okay, so please do 57, 58, 59, and 60 on your own on your paper. When you are done, please check your addition of the mixed fractions answer sheet before even continuing with this video, because the rest of the numbers on here are subtraction. But I want you guys to get familiar with the addition part of it first. Okay, so go ahead and pause this video, do those, check the answers, and then you can resume play. Okay, welcome back. So either on the back of your addition sheet or a completely new sheet of paper, let's go ahead and get your subtraction taken care of. So let's go ahead and do 53. Let's put 5 1/4 on our paper minus 9 7/8. So again, the first thing that we're going to do is find a common denominator between 4 and 8. So it should be 8. So 4 goes into 8 2 times. 2 times the 1 is 2. Do not change a thing on the next mixed number. Alright, so instead of subtracting, going from left to right, I'm going to do the stacking method. And the stacking method helps with subtraction because you're going to put the bigger number on top. Now this is 5 2/8 minus 9 7/8. So if you think about it, we're taking 5 minus 9. Okay, we are actually going to end up with a negative number, because if you think about it, 5 plus a negative 9, it will end up in a negative. So just realize and remember that your answer is going to be a negative number. Okay, let's go ahead and subtract. 9 minus 5 is 4. And then subtract the 2 numerators, 7 minus 2, and we end up with 5/8. Now remember, this is going to be a negative 4 and 5/8 because the 9 7/8 was the bigger number that was negative. Okay? Number 54, let's write this on our paper. 3 2/3 minus 8 5/6. Common denominator between 3 is 6 is 6. So let's make our adjustments. Three goes into 6 twice, so therefore 2 times 2 is 4. And then minus becomes plus, and turn the next number into a negative. So it's plus a negative. Again, I'm going to do the stacking method with the bigger number on top. And then just remember that my answer is going to be negative because the negative 8 is the bigger the bigger number here. So 8 minus 3 gives you 5. The numerators, 5 minus 4 is 1. So 5 and 1/6 is actually negative 5 and 1/6. Alright, number 55. We've got 5 and 7/12 minus 9 and 13 over 15. Okay, this one is going to take us a little bit more time because we have the denominators of 12 and 15. So if you have been practicing your multiplication skills, this might be a little easier for you. But try not to be overwhelmed with this. The common denominator between 12 and 15 is going to be 60. 12 can go into 60 5 times, while 15 can go into 60 4 times. Okay, so let's make the adjustments. So this was 5 times. 12 goes into 60 5 times, so therefore 5 times 7 is 35. We're going to change this to plus negative. 15 goes into 60 4 times, so therefore 4 times 13, well, that's 52. So let's do the stacking method. I again know that my answer is going to be a negative answer. So 9 minus 5 is 4. Subtract the numerators, and you get 17 over 60, but remember, it should be a negative. We have to make sure that we are remembering these negatives because we are forgetting, and our answer ends up being wrong just because we're forgetting. Okay, let's do one more problem. 56. So again, dealing with denominators 12 and 15, we know that our common denominator is going to be 60. Again goes into 60 5 times. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus negative. 15 goes into 60 4 times. 4 times 7 is 28. Okay, let's do the stacking method. Just remember our answer is going to be negative because the 9 was negative. 9 minus 4 is 5. 28 minus 5 is 23. Negative 5 and 23 over 60. And ladies and gentlemen, just because 23 ends in 3 does not make it divisible by 3. This is your answer. Alright, so on your own, go ahead and do 61, 62, 63, and 64. When you're done with those subtraction problems, please check your answer sheet.